greatest power you have is your intention. And as always, I have some quotes to begin. The first is by Dr. Ernest Holmes. This law of mind is our access to the original creative genius of the universe and has no intention for us other than the intention that we give it. The second quote I have here is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. A good intention clothes itself with sudden power. My third quote by Thomas Troward. Our repeated failure to fully act as we would wish must not discourage us. It is the sincere intention that is the essential thing, and this will in time release us from the bondage of habits which at present seem almost insurmountable. I love this last quote in particular because it speaks so loudly to what my life has looked like many times. My life has looked like a repeated failure to fully act as I would wish. And so to remember that my intention is powerful enough to break the bondage of habits which have seemed insurmountable to me is a very large comfort indeed. I hope it is for you too. You cannot get lost in the past, even if the past is only a moment ago. If you have not fully acted or fully experienced the life that is the one that is your intention, never forget that your intention is the most powerful force you have, and the act of holding that intention through any and all circumstances is what will ultimately bring you what you have been treating for, what you have been intending. So what is your intention for your life? Knowing what it is really important. And if you think you don't know, I am here to tell you that you do. It doesn't have to be some earth-shattering thing that will change the world. It may be as simple as a peaceful, loving life. In fact, that is a very powerful intention. So what is your intention? Is it simply to do what you love? You don't have to know what you love to have the intention to do what you love. But if you do know what you love, that's great too. Having an intention to do what you have passion for, whether you know what that thing is or not, is a powerful intention. Committing to the intention will drive your life into an adventure you would have never dreamed or imagined. But I have responsibilities, you might say. I don't have time for an adventure, you might say. Is what you really mean is that you are trapped by your responsibilities, but they feel comfortable because you know what they are? Ask yourself honestly, do you use your responsibilities to stay safe? I can promise you that if you hold your intention for your life as your North Star, it will guide you to the life you dream. Maybe you're like me and you've held your intention as a North Star, and the first place you were guided to was filled with chaos and upheaval and didn't feel very good at all. In my case, I have had many times where everything has felt wrong, like this couldn't be the right path. But knowing my intention is the strongest power I have to create the life of my dreams, I have not gone back to the romantic idea of what my life was before I began this journey. It's easy to do, romanticize about the good old times. For me, it's a cabin in the woods where I didn't have a care in the world. My health was up and I was happy, or at least that's how I romanticize it. More to the truth, I was lonely and felt isolated from the world. It was an important time for me to heal for some of the losses I had experienced at that time, particularly divorce. But it was not a place for me to spend the rest of my days, and my North Star, my intention of a joyous, flourishing life, knew exactly when it was time to move on. But what I've learned more than anything in my journey on this planet is that following your inner knowing doesn't mean that everything goes hunky-dory without a problem in the world. What it does mean is that I've had the opportunity to grow more and more into the person I want to be in the world, and grow and by doing so attract to me that which I wish to create. My life has been an extraordinary journey, and now I have the perfect partner, lover, wife to continue that journey with. I have big dreams with no evidence that I have what it takes to achieve them, except my knowing that if I have that dream, I must have the resources to do it. That's what I know for me, and that's what I know for you. It starts with an intention. Like I said, mine is a joyous, flourishing life. What is yours? Think about it. Journal about it. A life without an intention is like a boat without a rudder. You can't get anywhere. And when things get tough, if you begin to doubt your intention, that's like letting go of the rudder. It may make it to a safe harbor, but the odds of it being the shore or harbor you intended are pretty nil. Where does surrender and letting go to a higher power doing the guiding come into play? Many times when my life is at its roughest, I hand the rudder over to this higher power. What do I mean by that? I hold my intention, but let whatever you call that power take over and guide the how. I don't get rid of the rudder and don't simply let go of it. I hand it over to this higher power I know exists and know that is there for me and for all of us. Any of us can tap into this higher power at any time. That's what spiritual mind treatment is all about. That's what affirmational prayer is. It's handing the rudder to a higher power. But when we doubt that our attention is possible, that higher power doesn't know where we want to go, so has no guidance for us. We have been given free will for a reason. It is up to us to decide what it is we want to create or not create. This higher power is not present to tell us what to do with our lives. It's here to guide us. It is the greatest GPS you can imagine once we have set the destination. That destination is our intention. The clearer we are to this higher power where it is we want to go, the clearer the higher power can be to take us there. But of course, we have to be open to receiving and knowing that have to know the difference between our inner voice that is the critic, the doubting Thomas, and the voice that loves and supports us and wants to guide us home. When things get tough, it's easy to think maybe this wasn't meant to be. Maybe I was meant to do something else. Maybe. And certainly because we have free will, you get to choose it that way. But before you do, think about who you would have to be in this world to have your intention come true. I know I've had to ask myself that question again and again and again. And usually the answer is I'd have to be that person who can face these hardships with an open heart and an open mind, allowing this higher power to guide me towards my dreams. So instead of folding on my intentions, I fold on my doubts, recommit, and once again ask for this higher power to take the rudder and show me what's next. It's scary. I never know what the outcome will be. And I've been doing this long enough to know whatever comes is for my good, and I continue to grow into the person I need to be to have what it is I want to have. You can too. I knew when it was time to leave the cabin in the woods and rejoin the world. It was a wonderful healing time for me to be out there and so necessary to prepare me for the next steps in my life. There may be some of you who that cabin in the woods is where you want to spend the rest of your life, and if you hold that intention, I know you can get there. For me, it was a resting point, a place to refocus and rebuild my strength to move on to the rest of my life. Without that time, what I have now would not have been possible. This is true for all of us. Without whatever we've gone through in our past has made it possible for where we are in our present. So take a moment right now and appreciate whatever you've gone through in your life, because it has led you to this point you are right now. And in the end, the best and most powerful thing our intention does for us is shape us into the people we want to become. Whatever we wind up with having or not having has come about from being the person we want to be. Anyone who has had a near-death experience will share with you that what they care about is not what they have, but who they have become. So this is the powerful force called an intention. It guides us to becoming the best version of ourselves we can imagine, or beyond what we can imagine. And because what we embody manifests, who we become dictates what we have. And it's all tied together, and it all starts with intention. So put together a simple sentence for yourself, something you can remember in the lightest or darkest of times. Mine is a joyous and flourishing life. Find yours and repeat it over and over and over. And then in the best of times and in the worst of times, hold that intention right in front of your face, repeating it as often as necessary, never doubting that it is possible for an instant. And if you need to or want to, hand that intention over to this higher power that is there for all of us, all of the time, and let the miracles begin. Thank you. I love you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.